and welcome to another Astor interview with me, Mark Goldfinch, at Deal Community Radio. We get rather extraordinary guests at the Astor, but none more so, I think, than my two guests this time, who are international stage hypnotist Chris Gillies and renowned clairvoyant medium Roy Roberts. They're here to talk about their unexplained and unforgettable show at the Astor Theatre on Thursday the 27th of February. Hi guys, welcome to the Astor Theatre.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. Yeah. Do you have a good journey down?
It was about an hour and 20 minutes from us down to here, but no, it was a good run.
And you're in Deal all day doing promotional work for ahead of the show on the 27th of February?
Down here doing some interviews, got some press stuff to do this afternoon.
You know, as a hypnotist and as a medium, how did you both find out you had these extraordinary powers?
From the hypnosis side of things, hypnosis is something you can learn. It's not a skill that you have built into you like Roy does as a medium. I trained about 15 years ago when I was living out in Spain with a guy called David Hennessy. Trained out there doing stage hypnosis work, and then moved into a clinical side and doing past life regressions and stuff like that. I moved back to the UK about 6 years ago. We moved back from Spain to the UK, and I didn't do anything with stage hypnosis for a while. It's we have a lot of red tape in this country around it. We're governed by what's called the 1952 Hypnotism Act, which, to be quite honest with you, is farcical. So they put all these rules and regulations in place. We're the only country in the world that has one. Every single venue we do, I have to apply for a licence to be able to perform it and stuff like that. And then it just escalated from that point, and then I decided, well, maybe it's time that we shut the UK up a bit and went back on stage. And I went and met a guy called John Chase. He's been a stage hypnotist for 40 years. I do smoking cessations with people, weight loss, we do hypnotic gastric banding.
Oh wow,
which I do quite a lot of now. Fears and phobia removal. Paul McKenna, he uses a technique called havening, which is a bit like tapping, the old EFT techniques. And I've got my own adaptation on that, which is it's like lightning. I think our fastest recorded phobia removal was like 3.5 minutes.
Good grief, that's
really
extraordinary.
People have had for years.
Really impressive.
I mean, the power of the mind is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really is amazing. And you can achieve anything with the mind. If you really put your mind to it, things will happen for you. And it's just as quick to remove a fear or phobia as it is to get it in the first place, because they're all learnt. We're not born with any. So we pick them up as we go along. We can literally go into the old mind there and switch it off,
So, Roy, you were international clairvoyant. How did you find out you had these extraordinary powers in the first place?
He hypnotised me. No, I think it's a matter where we're born with this attitude, with this gift. But it sort of didn't come out with me until I was about 13. No, the fact of it was my mother had one of her friends come in. I'd never met her before. And I started getting all these things in my head about stuffed jewellery and boxes, and I remember the address as well. And I just said what came into my head. And I was like, anyway, cut a long story short, the lady 2 weeks prior to that had been burgled. And the stuff that I described to her was actually the stuff.
Was the contents of the house?
Was the contents. Yeah. Thing was, obviously, I'm 13, I'm back then, I'm a bit of a boy like everybody else. Yeah. Straight away they presumed, he's got to be involved. But I actually gave him a name. And the name I gave them actually was the guy that burgled the house. Still not understanding this. I mean, I was hearing what they call voices and whatever. My dad, lovely guy, but he was military. Took me straight down a psychiatric route, that was it. I'm off, I'm right off my head, mate. But when I saw a psychologist, he was a hippie, and I remember these words to my dad was, no, he needs to go to a church. My dad being a Christian as well, took me straight down a Christian-based church, thinking I needed an exorcism. I was possessed. And then basically the vicar there said no, he needed a spiritual church, and then basically went over and read the priest there, and that was it.
They understood this was a gift that you had and not...
Yeah. I don't think I can say I really actually understood what it was until I was about in my 30s. It's a strange thing. When you start getting things in your head and you're looking at a pure stranger telling them their life, it does frighten you. I was rated one of the top ghost hunters in the country when we came into this theatre.
Yeah, you're an investigator.
Yeah. Well, I'm what they call a poltergeist medium.
You come from such different disciplines.
Different industries of work.
They wouldn't normally come together. The two of you together sort of in the show reminded me of the Illusionists.
I was working on a psychic fair over in, was it Faversham? Roy was there doing readings, and I was booked in there to do past life regressions for people. And we just kind of got chatting, didn't we, and stuff like that. And we just decided, well, we can formulate some form of show where we're going to demonstrate to people. Well, I'm going to demonstrate the power of the mind, something that nobody really understands.
Well, it's never been done before.
Professors of hypnotism don't know what it is, and it's the same in the clinical sense. You know, we access the mind and just change something. What we always say with a hypnosis perspective is my entire job is to make a change. Regardless of how small or big that is, it's a change that somebody couldn't make themselves.
You see, and when a medium works, I mean, it's very similar, but you're getting into a person's personal life, you know, their background and whatever, and you're actually, if you know, or state from a pure stranger point of view, telling you all about what you should be doing or what you've done. And to be honest with you, it makes you think, and that's the part, it's putting you back on a path, basically. Yeah. You know, straight and narrow. So, but we do, I mean, we work on some extreme cases. Well, I do. I mean, you do as well, and your field, but, you know, it's nasty. I mean, there's good and bad in both our fields, you know, so, but the stage show itself, I mean, we like to make it quite comical.
You're on tour at the moment, so what's the format of the show that you're planning on doing at the Astor on 27th of February?
We obviously split the show into two halves. I do the first half of the show, have a chat with the audience, explain what's going to happen from the hypnosis side of things, do a couple of suggestibility experiments with the audience, then we'll drag some people out of there because we don't use stooges, nothing like that. It's, you know, the people that are in the auditorium are in there. And we'll grab however many, 10, 15 of them, go through the induction process. The show that I put on, nobody will be embarrassed. I don't do anything that they would be embarrassed about after the show. All the shows are recorded live onto DVD. People can get a DVD to take away with them after the show, so they can sit back then and watch the ridiculous things that we did on stage. There wouldn't be any point in the show if it wasn't something that the audience can sit and laugh at, and people can laugh at themselves. We'll get somebody to come up and play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire for £1 million, and they can't answer the question of what's their name. You know, I'll completely remove their name from their mind. We'll also have, you know, maybe some guy in there, you know, turn him into Michael Flatley. You can do Riverdance for everybody and stuff like that, you know.
Yes, Roy was pointing to our engineer, Chris Gillies here.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's been nominated as a volunteer.
I reckon you should try and get him to have a go. What do you reckon? Come on.
So, is there anything you draw the line at? That you
to me, there is. I mean, obviously, you do. From a medium point of view, we're going quite deep into someone's life. Obviously, there's going to be good and bad in that person's life. I mean, we try and make it as light-hearted as possible, but if we do get information coming across that we can't discuss in front of the public, we will say, come and see us backstage later, or so forth. You know, it's not going to be aired from a public point of view. There's no embarrassment there. I mean, at the moment, I believe I'm the only medium at the moment that's reading about 8 people at once on stage. So they're not on stage with me, but they're in the audience. But I'll be going, right, I've got your nan here and called so and so, and then I'll be jumping over to someone else, bringing them up, and then into someone else, and then to that, and then back to that one, but it's really, really quite funny. I won London's top medium back in 2009, but the thing that I don't agree with is a lot of backstreet mediums out there at the moment. They can go to WH Smith's, buy a pack of cards, all of a sudden, they're Doris Stokes, they're Gypsy Rose Lee, and whatever, and they'll charge £35 for that. Oh, yeah, I'll give you a reading. You know, they read the body, they read that type of thing. The good mediums are true-hearted, I should say. You know, what they're hearing is what they say. They'll be compassionate. Their angle is for them to change their life. Like Chris is hypnotising someone to change it, we're doing it from a spiritual angle. But like I say, with this tour, I mean, it's never ever been done anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world. And to be honest with you, to have this opportunity is actually quite a privilege, really.
There are hypnotists in the world that exploit the ability that they have.
And Roy, you just said about some of the mediums who are basically just readers.
To be honest with you, mediumship has had to come up market. My advice to people is only go to a medium that you trust, or you get a gut feeling that you should go to. I'm
a member of the professional organisation of stage hypnotists, and I'm also a member for my clinical side as well. I carry insurances for both. We have to have a holistic insurance for my clinical side, and then a stage insurance for the other one. And you know, to be able to do those things, you've got to be members of the proper organisations where that states, you know, you're going to do things by the book and be ethical with what you do. But you know, there are the ones out there that don't.
Is there anything happened during one of your shows that actually even freaked you out? Because I could imagine that actually audiences can have different reactions. You know, they can be in tears.
We can be in tears as well. We did have an experience a little while ago, and for 10 minutes I'm banging on, because if I hear something I won't come away from it. And there was this large gentleman in the front, and I'm going, it's round here, he's definitely here. He's telling me it's to do with you. No. 2 minutes later he's looked at me, and he actually, he went, oh, that's the side of the family that I never talked to. Oh, and then he actually phoned up and went, yeah, you were right about everything you said.
What would you say the best thing is about the jobs that you do, your professions? And
the best thing about my job, I think, is being able to help people. Definitely more from the clinical sense. When people come up on and they do the stage shows, I'll always give them a bit of empowerment at the end, something they can take away with them, as like a little thank you for getting up and being part of the show. Because of course, without the audience, without them coming up on stage, I wouldn't have a show.
Because it does take guts to get
it
up
does.
there.
If I stand on stage and nobody wants to come up on stage, there is no show.
I mean, mine's very much similar. We become an advisory angle, you know, so what we're hearing, we just advise. But basically, my angle is I like making people laugh. We're very friendly, we're very approachable.
Yeah, well, I mean, I teach hypnotism as well. We're going to be doing about 4 training seminars this year. So, yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to learn it, by all means, you know, get in touch and we'll help them out and put them on the right path.
We'll put your contact details on the Astor Theatre website. I'll give you the details of that at the end. So how would you sum up your show for people listening?
Entertaining.
Yeah, it's an entertaining evening.
Invigorating and emotional journey.
For us.
It's a complete mixture of emotions. You know, we work from a comedy perspective, where it's very light-hearted and people have a good laugh and a joke. And then, obviously, from Roy's side of things, people can get quite emotional as well. So it's a whole roller coaster of emotions throughout the evening.
I mean, is this theatre open every day?
Yes.
I mean, it's really funny, I must admit, even if people want to come here just for the sake of it, I would. Because, I mean, there must be 4 or 5 little energies in here.
In the Astor Theatre?
Yeah, definitely. Wicked. I mean, you've got 2 little kids there that follow you around. You've got an old caretaker angle on the stage, and I'm sure things are going to happen that night. I really am. It's going to be quite entertaining. I mean, I reckon the public should just come along and have a nose. I really do. It's got a lovely feel to it.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice room, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice old Edwardian building. It's open every day. Loads of activities going on here. Really surprising.
The bar's open as well.
The bars, yeah, the bars often open.
Every cloud.
People can come along and actually look at, you know, merchandise and materials which are associated with both hypnotism
Well,
and
also
the spiritual side of things.
Yeah, I mean, Chris has his
we'll have
DVDs and plus the recording of the night as well. You can buy
yes,
books, and so you got self-help guides.
There's a book I wrote on the secrets of hypnosis and how you can do it yourself. That teaches people all about pain relief and stuff like that, things they can, you know, take away and learn the techniques and do that for themselves. And I've got 20 different titles on CD that people can take away for smoking and weight loss and fears and phobias and exam nerves, improved concentration and accelerated learning and stuff like that. So that'll all be here for people to pick up. We're excited to come down to Deal and be at the Astor Theatre, and it'll be absolutely fantastic for the community to get behind the show and come down and experience something new.
We're quite privileged to come here, really, with that feel.
Yeah.
You know, you come in here and, like I say, it's very friendly. The staff are brilliant, you know.
That's it. Yeah, made to feel welcome.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank all my guests for coming in today. This really sounds like a truly unforgettable show, and one that you shouldn't miss. If you can get the chance to get here on the Thursday, the 27th, then do. So I've been talking to international stage hypnotist Chris Gillies and renowned clairvoyant medium Roy Roberts, whose show is on at the Astor Theatre in Deal on Thursday, the 27th of February. To book this show and discover all the other activities at the Astor Theatre, please have a look at the website www.theastor.org or phone Deal 370 220 or just call into the box office. Thanks for listening, and I hope you'll join me for the next interview on Deal Community Radio.